Week 4 of the Dana White's Contender Series Tuesday Night Fights is just finishing up. Last night, we saw a bunch of contenders fight for their spot in the UFC. First up, we had Young versus Salkeld. Banger of a matchup. Two guys went in there, put their guts out on the line, 24 years old apiece. Both of them really young in their fighting careers. Salkeld just started training about 6 to 8 years ago, and Young has been training and wrestling and doing all kinds of mixed martial arts for a lot of his life. Already leading up to this, the American versus the Australian. Salkeld, man, he just looked like the better, well-rounded guy. He just had a complete game. He showed aspects of every part of the game. Ground game, wrestling, trips, sweeps, showed some judo, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, striking, kickboxing. He had great kicks to the body, threw like a Muay Thai fighter. I mean, this guy just had everything. It was a great back and forth battle. Young is a guy that's kind of one of these scrappy, just striker types that likes to just bang it on the feet. Salkeld, you could tell, is like a mixed martial artist at heart. Like, he loves to mix the arts and make a fun, interesting matchup, put on a performance, put on a showcase, put on a artistic performance when he goes in there. And that's exactly what he did. Was he the harder puncher? Did he have more power in his shots? I would say no. That would lend more towards Young's game. Let's pull up the Tapology just so you see the wins-loss kind of thing here. And exactly what happened. It was a unanimous decision, as we know. 3 rounds, 15-minute decision. Quinlan Salkeld, this guy's fun to watch, man. 24 years old, and he's already looking this good, mixing up. He has every piece of the puzzle. It's just all about developing them in the right direction. I can't complain any which way about this over the fact that he got a contract. This is exactly who I want to get a contract. A young guy, a well-rounded guy, and somebody who's willing to go out there and do everything he can to win. In the last round, he wasn't able to put together enough combinations to finish him, but he was throwing Gage Young, around the cage like crazy. Throwing him, trying to suplex him. I mean, this guy was just doing everything he could to get a win without having to finish the guy outright with strikes. That was really impressive to see. That's exactly what I want to see on the Contender Series. These guys both showed out, both looked really impressive. I wouldn't be displeased if Gage Young got into the UFC via a late notice situation. Who knows? Maybe, they need somebody to step up on late notice, short notice, and come in and fight. Gage Young, wouldn't be upset if he came in. The guy shows that he's willing and able to scrap. And he's got the ability to hang in there with some of the best guys in the world. Clearly, because Salkeld mixes it up, and not everybody mixes it up like Salkeld can. And when somebody mixes it up, that means they're probably really dangerous and really hard to just get damage off on, avoid damage from. So this is exactly what I like to see. 2 young guys slinging it out there, putting it all on the line. Very impressive. On to the next. The highlight of the night was the women's matchup. Eunice Dubin, fighting out of South America somewhere. Very impressive. Both these girls went in there, put their hands down, and were just slinging it all the way through. 2 obviously strong, bigger ladies for the 125-pound division. Was it a fantastic knockout? Was it amazing? Was it just an absolute hilarious moment where they were just throwing down like Juliana Pena and Amanda Nunes in the first fight? They just put their hands together, fist to face, both of them, just over and over again. I mean, great knockout, fantastic. I jumped out of my seat. It was awesome. Got to give her credit for that. Obviously, they're going to give her a contract. I just don't know what is she really like. Shannon Clark put her hands down, and she landed a huge overhand bomb, just a windmill punch on Clark's head. Does that mean she's going to be any good? I don't know. Probably not. She's big and strong for the division, I'll give her that. But I feel like her ceiling is going to be like Molly Meatball. Like, she's going to get to fight Molly McCann, and that's it. Like, she's not going to have another knockout like this in the UFC again. It'd be great if I was wrong and I jinxed that, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think somebody's going to just let her tee off on her like Clark did. Great knockout, fantastic win, good for her, getting her contract, making some money. But I Don't really know where she's going to go in her career. Not really looking forward to what she has to offer. Just doesn't look like she has all that kind of skill, truthfully speaking. On to the next, which was Austin Bashi versus Dorian Ramos. Dorian Ramos took this fight on short notice. And, you know, he went in there and made it a little bit tough for Bashi. He was like, I think 30 years old. So he's got veteran ability. He's got the knowledge of MMA. He's got some ability to stay on the feet, stay alive in a fight, and make it here. Obviously, they picked him to be here, but it was short notice. Austin Bashi's 22 years old, still really, really young in his game. He doesn't usually fight this crazy, but I wouldn't be unimpressed if he couldn't fight that crazy again, because I've seen him in a 5-round fight. He pushed the pace pretty well. He had good cardio. If he can push like this for 10 or 15 minutes, this guy's not losing to your average run-of-the-mill bantamweight or featherweight. He says that he wants to fight at bantamweight. This kid is just getting bigger and bigger by the week. Like this, he's only 22 years old. He's growing into his frame as we speak. The guy, his tenacity on the ground, he's like Raul Rosas, where he just goes after you on the ground. He will sacrifice everything to get a takedown, to grab the leg, to get in on a takedown. Beautiful, beautiful performance from him. Very, very fun, exciting grappling style here. Just smothering in every possible way. Got the submission, rear naked choke, just absolutely nasty on the back. Austin Bashi, really, really impressive. Deserves the contract, no doubt. But do not throw this guy in there against the top flight levels of the division. We saw what happened with Raul Rosas when we stepped in there against Christian Rodriguez. Christian Rodriguez, as much as I like to shit on the guy, he is a legit contender, up-and-coming young guy in the bantamweight featherweight division. And Raul Rosas just didn't have anything for him. Austin Bashi, same kind of thing. I don't want to throw him in there against and Nate the Train yet, because Nate the Train is a crafty vet, okay? Like, we don't need to throw these guys into those situations yet. Let him build, let him fight a couple of guys that are lower down there in the rankings that nobody really knows of first, and then let him move up to, kind of the Darren Elkins level, Jim Miller's, that kind of like crafty vet, but kind of on the way out. And then he can move up to fight somebody like, Christian Rodriguez, another contender type, after a couple of years. This is a slow process. He's 22 years old. You can build this guy, and when he's 25, then he can start fighting the upper tiers of the division. The upper tier, the top 15, 20, 25 fighters, as opposed to just throwing him in there right away. Austin Bashi, great performance, fun, exciting style of grappling. This is the kind of grappling we want to see in MMA. On to the next. Jordan Santos versus Will Curry. Will Curry was the favorite heading into this one. This was a middleweight matchup. Two strikers, predominantly strikers, that can mix it up and fight in the clinch, as they showed in the fight. It was a knockdown, drag-out, unanimous decision victory for Jordan Santos. He just had the better combination. He was more tenacious. He wanted it more. Will Curry it's like he likes to get into scraps, but he likes to have perfect scraps where he can just tee off on you and you're not moving your head or covering up your chin. Jordan Santos kept his hands to his chin, had great hip movement, and was able to avoid the big looping shots of Will Curry and just throw shots right down the middle. His right cross was landing absolutely beautifully the entire fight. This guy has fun striking on the feet, and he showed that he can grapple a little bit. I noticed that he's kind of a little flabby. I'm wondering if he can actually get down to welterweight, because he's got a long frame, and he's got a fun fighting style that could match up well with welterweights with that long range. Jordan Santos proved that he wants to fight. All I need to see from the Contender Series are that these guys want to be in there and they want to finish the fight. At the end of the fight, they're going for it no matter what, sacrificing life and limb to get a finish at the end of the fight. That's what I want to see on the Contender Series. If you suck, and I'll call it out. But if you're clawing tooth and nail to get a victory at the end, then that's fine. Will Curry just looked like he was trying to hug up on the legs of Jordan Santos and escape with a victory. That's not how we play it. I'd rather you get knocked out going for something on the Contender Series, going all out for something, overextending, trying to get a knockout, than playing it safe and trying to shoot takedowns and clinch up and stay safe. that doesn't cut it for me. Jordan Santos proved that he wanted to win this fight, and no matter what, he was going to get it. On to the main event. Igor Cavalcante versus Seok Hyun Ko. This was a fantastic matchup. Ko had been previously fighting a bunch of times, looked really, really impressive on the regional scene, went away for active military service over there in Korea, and kind of has been away from the public limelight because he just hasn't been fighting at the same volume as other guys. But he's really, really damn impressive. This guy just has everything, man. He's probably the most developed fighter of this entire card. I can say that without a doubt. Igor Cavalcante is probably the most dangerous fighter on this entire card, and Ko was able to withstand the barrage of the first round and get the victory. Beautiful, beautiful performance from Ko. Cavalcante, I did think was suspect heading into it. He has a bunch of first-round finishes. He's got huge, heavy hands. He throws with absolute furious anger. Throws wild, wild shots. And I was worried that from what I've seen of him, and again, not much, but does he have the gas to go? And he clearly proved that he did not have the gas tank to go after this, about halfway through the second round, when, Ko just started to turn it on him. Like, Cavalcante, credit to him, he's tough and he hung in there for sure. But Ko was able to just stick it out, win the fight, be smart, had a smart game plan. He struck on the feet with Igor Cavalcante, the dangerous, heavy-handed, long-range guy. He had an 8-inch reach advantage on Ko. He stuck in there with Cavalcante. He was baiting Cavalcante out to extend himself, to tire himself out, to throw these huge punches. Yeah, did he land a couple on Ko? Sure, yeah. But Ko let him tire himself out. And then in the second round, what did he do? After tiring out Cavalcante, Ko immediately shot a takedown. Did he stick the takedown? Did he stay on top of him? No, but he shot the takedown to get it in his head. And then throughout the rest of the fight, he was trying to sweep him, trying to take him down, pick up the leg, strike with him. He's out striking Cavalcante, who was the striker coming in with the heavy hands. Ko was able to get over top and strike him in a better fashion than Cavalcante was able to tee off on him. Cavalcante landed a couple shots, but Ko was just teeing off on him, keeping him straight, landing the straight punches, landing the combinations on him, throwing good kicks to the head. There's nothing more I can say. This guy had a genius game plan heading into it. Perfect game plan for this type of fighter, dangerous fighter. He played it safe in the first round, kind of baited him, let him tire himself out, and then went all after him in the second and third rounds. Cavalcante was tough to finish, credit to him, but Ko, smart fight IQ is what got him the win. If nothing else, this guy has got a good fight IQ and is smart. And that is also something that we need in the UFC, because a lot of these guys are just fucking retarded, and I'm tired of seeing it. All right, so to recap, Salkeld, great win, well-rounded, young fighter. Dubin, huge knockout ability in the fight. Will this translate to the UFC? I don't know yet. Bashi, great, young, super young talent. Very, very fun grappling style. Santos has the heart to win it all. And he's got good, well-rounded striking ability. He's able to mix it up, throw combinations. He's throw uppercuts in combination with other strikes. Beautiful, beautiful performance. And Ko, smart game plan. So, to recap, young, crafty, Salkeld. Dubin, heavy-handed. We'll see what happens. Bashi, young, fun grappling style. And Santos, crafty, fun, technical striking ability. And Ko, genius level fight IQ. That's what I like to see. All these guys deserve to win a contract. We'll see what happens when they get to the big leagues.